A fresh storm appears to be forming between Buckingham Palace and the UK government. According to several reports, King Charles has quietly but firmly expressed concern over what many are calling the Canada crisis. It's a diplomatic issue that has suddenly placed the Commonwealth and the UK's leadership role within it under new pressure. Palace insiders claim that the King was not fully informed about certain government decisions linked to Canada, and that has reportedly caused frustration inside royal circles. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Keir Starmer's office insists that everything was handled within standard diplomatic channels, but not everyone is convinced. This latest situation raises some serious questions. Has communication between the palace and Downing Street broken down? Could the King's quiet frustration signal a shift toward a more outspoken monarchy? And what does all this mean for the future of the Commonwealth? Welcome back to BritWatch Media, your trusted source for political analysis and royal affairs. In this video, we'll break down everything you need to know. What exactly happened with the Canada issue? Why the palace is reportedly concerned, what constitutional experts are saying, and how this could reshape the monarchy's role in modern politics. Let's dive in. To understand the crisis, let's go back to what triggered it. According to diplomatic reports, the UK government recently made a set of decisions related to defence cooperation and trade alignment with Canada. While details haven't been made fully public, sources suggest these moves were part of a broader effort to strengthen the UK's post-Brexit trade reach. But here's the issue. Those decisions reportedly came as a surprise to both Canadian officials and the palace. Since King Charles is officially the head of state in Canada, he is expected to be informed of any significant developments that involve the Commonwealth realms. This is mostly symbolic, but it's part of a long-standing tradition of communication and respect. However, reports indicate that this time the palace wasn't consulted early enough. By the time news reached royal advisors, key agreements were already being discussed publicly. For a monarch who takes his Commonwealth role seriously, that's no small thing. Observers say this might have been seen as a diplomatic slight, not intentional, but careless. And because Canada holds deep historic and emotional ties with Britain, such a communication breakdown could easily spark misunderstandings. One analyst put it simply, "You don't surprise the King when it comes to Commonwealth matters. It's not just about protocol. It's about trust." So why does this matter so much? Because the Commonwealth isn't just a group of countries. It's a network of 56 nations connected by history, culture and cooperation. And at its symbolic heart stands the monarch. For King Charles, who has spent decades building relationships across these nations through charity work, diplomacy and personal visits, this kind of situation cuts deep. Many people forget that Charles's relationship with Canada is long and personal. He's visited the country more than 20 times. He's spoken warmly about its diversity, its Indigenous communities, and its place in global climate action. So when decisions affecting that realm happen without his knowledge, it's not just a political issue, it's a personal one too. Palace aides reportedly said the King was concerned about the tone of recent government actions, not because of policy, but because of the message it sends about the Commonwealth's unity. As one royal commentator put it, if the Commonwealth starts feeling ignored by London, it won't just weaken the King's symbolic role, it could weaken the UK's global influence. Now let's look at how the palace has reacted. Officially, Buckingham Palace has said nothing, no statements, no press releases, but behind the scenes, several well-placed sources claim there's been quiet frustration. Some insiders suggest that the King may have privately raised the issue in meetings or through correspondence. Others believe that senior courtiers have urged Downing Street to restore the spirit of consultation. That phrase, restore the spirit of consultation, and keeps coming up. It reflects a belief within the palace that the monarchy and government are partners, even if their powers are separate. Historically, royal neutrality has always been absolute. The monarch advises, warns and encourages, but never interferes. However, Charles's reign is showing subtle differences. He's known to care deeply about diplomacy and the environment. He's hosted world leaders, engaged with NGOs, and even addressed global climate summits. So when he reportedly expresses concern, it's not seen as political, it's seen as principled. Still, some critics argue that even private expressions of frustration can create headlines. And that's the tightrope every monarch walks, staying relevant without becoming political. This brings us to one of the most interesting parts of the story, the constitutional side. In the United Kingdom, the monarchy operates under a principle called constitutional monarchy. That means the king reigns, but the Prime Minister rules. All major decisions are made by elected officials, not the monarch. But there's also an unspoken rule. When something involves a Commonwealth realm, the monarch should be kept informed out of respect for his position. Constitutional experts say this situation highlights a growing grey area. If the Prime Minister makes major decisions affecting Canada without briefing the King, does it technically break a rule? Not legally, but symbolically, yes, it could be seen as a lapse in judgment. One professor of constitutional law told reporters, "These things matter not because of law, but because of trust. The monarchy's role depends on goodwill and respect." We've seen similar moments before. In the 1930s, during the abdication crisis, King Edward VIII's actions tested the monarchy's political neutrality. In the 1990s, tensions around Princess Diana's treatment pushed the monarchy into public debate. And more recently, during Brexit, royal neutrality was carefully preserved despite major national divisions. So if this Canada crisis continues to grow, it could become one of the biggest tests yet of how a modern monarch balances influence with restraint. The Commonwealth itself is at a crossroads. Several nations, from Jamaica to Australia, have discussed becoming republics in recent years. If those debates continue, the symbolic power of the British monarch could gradually shrink. Canada, however, has always been one of the most loyal members. That's why this story has struck such a nerve. Canadian media outlets have begun questioning whether the UK's government still values the Commonwealth relationship as much as previous generations did. One Canadian analyst told a local paper the Commonwealth used to be a family. Now it feels like a group chat that no one reads. For King Charles, who's trying to modernise and reconnect the monarchy with younger generations, this is crucial. He's repeatedly said that the Commonwealth's diversity and shared values are key to the future, and any sign of division could damage that message. So from the palace's perspective, this crisis isn't just about Canada. It's about keeping the Commonwealth united in an era of growing independence movements. Public reaction in Britain has been mixed. Some believe the King is right to be quietly concerned, saying it shows leadership and care for global stability. Others think even subtle royal opinions risk blurring the line between constitutional and political roles. On social media, the debate is everywhere. Some users praise Charles for his sense of duty, while others say the monarchy should stay out of it. Meanwhile, politicians are staying cautious. Government officials insist that communication with the palace remains strong and respectful. But opposition figures have hinted that the Prime Minister should show more transparency when it comes to Commonwealth relations. Internationally, Canadian newspapers have picked up the story, framing it as a moment of reflection for both countries. It's become a conversation about respect, partnership, and modern leadership. So where does this go from here? Experts say the Palace and Downing Street will likely hold private talks to clear the air. Behind closed doors, officials will want to ensure the King feels properly informed in future decisions that touch the Commonwealth. Some believe this could even lead to small procedural reforms, like regular briefings from the Foreign Office specifically about Commonwealth affairs. But on a deeper level, this event may mark a quiet turning point. A reminder that even in a modern democracy, the crown still matters, not as a source of power, but as a symbol of unity and continuity. The King's role may be ceremonial, but when that symbol speaks, even gently, it can send ripples across governments and continents. So to wrap it up, reports suggest the palace may be quietly uneasy about recent UK government decisions involving Canada. The issue highlights deeper questions about communication, respect, and the evolving role of the monarchy in today's world. What do you think? Should the king have a stronger voice in Commonwealth matters, or should he remain completely neutral? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more political analysis and royal updates. This has been BritWatch Media. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.